Well, if I was going to use the word exquisite about anything, I think I'd use it for this. It's very small, concentrated, and extremely beautiful. Tell me about it.
It came from my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, who was raised in Ireland. And it came to me because my mother, when she died about 8-9 years ago, there were a whole lot of artifacts from my grandmother which she wanted to divide up between myself, my sister, and my 2 cousins. And she said, you can draw lots for who goes first, and all the artifacts can be laid out on the dining room table, and then you pick them in order. And I took an instant shine to that, and I said, well, I hope I'm going to get it. I was actually the one that got the 4th straw. And so I had to wait while my 3 others chose, and luckily they were all far more practical than I was, and they all took things like toast racks or knives and forks. And so when my turn came, I got that.
No, that must have been an absolutely heart-stopping moment, actually, when you think that the roulette wheel's not spinning in your direction. But it absolutely did, didn't it?
Yes,
and my goodness, what a fantastic condition, too. What do you know about its contents?
Well, it's got this little paper almanac inside, isn't it?
Yes, full of all kinds of interesting facts, and it's a very sweet engraving of a view of London at this time. And there are the phases of the sun and the moon, aren't there?
Yes,
and
yes.
There are lists of the Lord Mayor of London and lists of
Kings
the
and Queens.
Kings and Queens, and the senior dignitaries of Queen Victoria's court. Her absolute favourite, Lord Melbourne, is mentioned top of the list. Waits for stamps. Very conveniently, it's dated 1840, and I'm sure the Goldsmiths' work is exactly from that period. It's very interesting to me, actually, because had we not that external evidence, I might just have been, for a while, thinking along the lines that this could be a piece of 18th century English Goldsmiths' work. Right. It's very much in the manner of a goldsmith called Strahan, working in London in the second half of the 18th century. And I think, in a strange way, this is an 18th century revival. 1840 is certainly in the reign of Queen Victoria. In fact, it was the year that she was married. And so this is an early Victorian piece of London goldsmiths' work. And why does it exist? It's hopelessly impractical, isn't it? Bound in beautiful silk here. And its function is really very much secondary to the fact that it's a truly beautiful object. For these sort of hopelessly useless and beautiful things, there is a terminology. We call them objects of virtue, which really has its etymological roots in the fact that they're toys. These are toys for grown-ups. Yeah. And they come from an age, really, when there's no television, no radio. In the evenings, amusements were taken in odd ways, and one would have a collector's cabinet with Goldsmiths' work and get these beautiful things out in candlelight and look at them and view them with amazement. Well, a beautiful thing, probably to give a beautiful girl in 1840. We don't know exactly who that is, but boy, we share in that life, don't we, by seeing it?
Yes, yes. It'll probably be the grandmother of my grandmother. That would fit datal-wise, I would think.
Well, marvellous, and it's a very rare sight, and I think this is a very enviable object, and with envy, of course, comes value. I mean, if this were, and it isn't going to happen, but if it turned up for sale, it would excite an enormous amount of interest. I mean, I'd want it really badly, and I would bid, my goodness, what would I bid? I'd bid £5,000, £6,000.
Good gracious.
And I might even go one more at 7. I think it's a completely marvellous thing, and thank you for bringing it.
My pleasure.
Thank you.